A quick traffic update for those of you casually driving through Monte Carlo right now. If you're trying to go down Boulevard Louis II, there's currently a crash that has happened there that is blocking traffic to a complete stop, as you can see here by the picture. Yes, quite the bizarre ending to qualifying for the Monaco Grand Prix. Second straight year that it's had a very bizarre ending. Last year, Leclerc won the pole, but he crashed himself, and that clinched the pole for him, but it also destroyed his gearbox, and he wasn't able to start. This year, he won the pole again, and what did he do? He didn't crash. Instead, it was Sergio Perez who crashed at the end of qualifying, and then after that, Carlos Sainz did the exact same thing into Portier and crashed himself into Perez. I don't know if he was trying to avoid, like he was going through the turn last second, saw him, turned it hard right, and then just spun, or if he was already spinning, or basically they both crashed each other, or they crashed, not each other, like they didn't hit each other, but Perez lost the car. I don't think he hit the barrier, but he did lose the car, crashed, destroyed the back of his car. Sainz followed suit, and then after that, you literally see Verstappen, I think it was Ocon, maybe, one of the Alpines, everyone else that was on the track stuck behind them, just kind of sitting there watching. Like, you could see on the live broadcast, they were showing Leclerc, I think, and then you saw at the end of the camera of showing Leclerc, you saw a Red Bull spin off, and then they cut back to Leclerc, but then they're like, hold on, someone crashed, go back to that. But very bizarre. Obviously, Monaco, the street circuit, very tight quarters, very difficult to get past each other, not a lot of room to crash or run off, there's not a lot of runoff area, basically. So if you crash like that and you're blocking half the track and someone else crashes, it's going to be a full-blown road block. And so that's what I just thought it was very bizarre. Like, we've seen crashes in qualifying, obviously. We've seen bizarre thing happens. I think it was, 2018 or 2019, this happened in, like, the second to last corner where two guys spun and were blocking the track, and they had to, like, forward, reverse, like, to try to get, like, 5 people through, and they're all just sitting there for a minute. I can't remember who it was, but, yeah, it was weird. Anyways, the hometown hero, he won the pole again. His second straight pole at his home track, but this time, he gets the start on pole unless, like, the car just implodes overnight. If you do not know, Leclerc, terrible luck at his home track. 2018, his first home race, loses the brakes, rear ends one of the Toro Rossos, I can't remember which one, and doesn't finish. 2019, hits a wall, gets a puncture. Later on in the race, retires. 2020, the race didn't happen. 2021, he won the pole, but he didn't start because of the gearbox issues. And so, yeah, this year, he is hoping for something to go right. Not just to finish it, but to win it. Of course, he is in prime position to win the Monaco Grand Prix. Qualifying so important at this track because it's almost like impossible to pass because of how narrow the track is and how wide the cars have gotten over the years. It's literally to the point where it's almost physically impossible to pass. Like, obviously, in qualifying today, you could pass because cars are pulling over at 10 miles an hour and making space. The other cars are going 130, 140 miles an hour. Obviously, you can pass there. But when both cars are at full speed, it's very difficult to pass. And so, yeah, the pole position, very important. The only thing that could really stop him is a pit stop strategy thingy. But if Leclerc can pull far and away, he should be able to run away with it. That's why this qualifying session is so important because, it's hard to pass, as we said. So, yeah, and some of his top contenders potentially have problems. I don't know how severe the damage is to Perez or Sainz, but, as we saw with Leclerc last year, they may not start the race. They may have to do a pit lane start. I don't know if they can get it all fixed up. I don't know if they can start from their original positions, but let's say that Perez and Sainz cannot start from their original positions, then it would be a Leclerc-Verstappen front row. Of course, those top two in the championship, Leclerc led all the way up until Spain, and then Verstappen took the championship lead after Spain. So, yeah, it would be the championship on the front row, and then after that, I think it would be Norris. Yeah, Norris, Russell, Alonso, Hamilton, Vettel, Ocon, Tsunoda, Bottas, Magnussen, Ricciardo, Schumacher, Albon, Gasly, Stroll, Latifi, Zhou, Guan Yu. So, I don't know how bad the damage is. I mean, Perez's car looked pretty destroyed on the back end, so I don't know if they're going to be able to get that thing fixed for tomorrow, but they're going to be working all night on that. Same thing for Sainz. Sainz, the cosmetic damage didn't look as bad. I don't know what it's like internally for either of those cars. We'll figure out soon enough. I'll put something in the community post. But basically, Leclerc won his home pole. Ferrari's been great in qualifying all year. I think he has like 5 of the 7 poles this year. So, you know, Ferrari's been on top of it in the qualifying. As for the races, it's actually been Red Bull excelling in the races. So Ferrari hoping to have the race pace, but honestly, like, it's Monaco, so it's hard to pass. The only thing I can think of that could prevent Leclerc from winning is a good old thing called rain. I got to look up the forecast real quick. Yes, okay, so we went from traffic, I feel like a news guy. We went from traffic, talking about the traffic in Monte Carlo. Now we're talking about the weather. Oh boy, this could get very interesting. Starting at 11 p.m., there's a 77% chance of rain. And then it stays above 65% all the way until 6 p.m. And then it drops to 53%. So we might be looking at a rain-filled Monaco race tomorrow. How about that? That can make things quite interesting. Usually it's like, oh, whoever wins the pole, they get off the line well, they run away and win it, unless they have a bad stop like Ricciardo in 2016, or a pit strategy like how Vettel won in 2017. But other than that, it's like you get the pole, you win. As of recent years, at least, you know, back in the day, you were able to pass because the cars were smaller. But anyways, not much else to talk about in qualifying. There was a weird red flag in Q1 for Tsunoda hitting the wall, but like a small piece of debris fell off, so they're like, oh, red flag the session. It didn't need a red flag, but it screwed a lot of people right there. And Gasly, who was 5th in the final practice session, ends up qualifying what did I say, 16th, 17th. So, yeah, that was tough for him. But, yeah, tomorrow will be interesting. I don't know the extent of the damage to Perez or Sainz, but if it's bad enough, then maybe we'll see some, you know, I guess a fun 3rd spot on the podium. It could be Norris, it could be Russell. Heck, dude, what if Alonso gets up there, you know? I don't know. But, yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be fun. So, yeah, looking forward to that tomorrow. We'll talk about that race tomorrow. Tomorrow, one of the biggest days of the year for motorsports. We got Monaco. Then we got the Indianapolis 500. We got the Coca-Cola 600 for NASCAR. I mean, tomorrow, a very big day in motorsports. I am telling you, I will not leave my house. I will not leave my couch. I will be watching racing all day long, so no one disturb me. No one call me or anything. I will be watching racing. Yeah, so if you like racing, we'll talk about it more. Like the video, subscribe. Talk about a lot of racing on here, but Leclerc on pole, on home soil. So how about that? One of the most iconic Grand Prix. And they said, Brundle said they don't have a contract set up yet for the future. So, and that it's not going too great. So I hope they get that together, because that would suck not to have Monaco on the schedule.